Hi there, it's Vincent here from Vincent Games. Welcome to what will be a quick round of Magic the Gathering. This is going to be the start of quite a few videos for Modern, as well as some other videos, limited matches, so drafts, maybe a couple of sealed leagues, see how things go. But kicking things off, first of all, with a quick game of Modern with my Naya Burn list. It's pretty much a stock list with a couple of little changes that I've made, things that I'd like to try out. The land base is 4 Wooded Foothills and 4 Arid Mesas. So the red, green, and red, white fetches to get either Stomping Grounds or Sacred Foundries, as well as the mountains. Scalding Tarns, there is another fetch land to help kind of thin the deck. And once this deck hits 3 lands, it really doesn't need any more. So having the access to the fetches is really nice to just to reduce the land count. Have Inspiring Vantage. White is quite important when we get to the sideboard, as well as quite a few cards in the main deck. So having the Inspiring Vantage is really nice. And coming into play tapped beyond turn 3 is not really an issue in this deck. I mean, it might come up, but more often than not, having it untapped, red and white source early game is going to be what we need more than anything else. Onto the creatures, we have Monastery Swiftspear, pretty stock, 4 Goblin Guides, 1 Grim Lavamancer, and 4 Eidolon of the Great Revel. We have your Lava Spikes, Lightning Bolts, Atarka's Commands, 4 Boros Charm, 4 Rift Bolt, and then we get onto the less than 4 of. So I'm running at the moment 2 Skullcrack, 2 Lightning Helix, and 2 Searing Blaze. Now, a lot of deck lists will have different numbers of these kind of effects. What I found is that depending on the situation, all of these cards are really good. Lightning Helix is great against other aggressive matchups that aren't Infect. Searing Blaze is good against most decks, if not all decks with creatures. And Skullcrack I like as another way of stopping people gaining life. I don't know if it's worth main decking or not, but we will see. It's there to test it out. I mean, I could easily see this being another copy of Lightning Helix and or Searing Blaze, being the 3rd and 4th of each, or the 3rd and 3rd. And then we have a one of Slagstorm, which is great against creatures, but also is burn if it needs to be against a more controlling kind of deck, or a deck with just less creatures. So I'm just trying it out as a one-off, as an insurance policy against creature-based decks, and we'll see how it goes. Sideboard, Path to Exile for Kitchen Finks or anything big, that's going to be a problem. And we also have Anger of the Gods for collected company style decks, or Merfolk, or anything with lots of creatures really. And then we have Ancient Grudge and Destructive Revelry for Affinity. I don't think these are necessarily the best cards against Affinity. I would probably want maybe 1 Shatterstorm, but we're just seeing how this works. I can imagine a world where I board in Anger of the Gods against Affinity as well. Graveyard Hate for Dredge mainly, or Living End, anything that's going to be trying to use the graveyard to leverage some sort of advantage. Deflecting Palm for Infect, or anything that's going all in on big attackers, so potentially Thing in the Ice style decks, or just sort of big red decks as well. Even playing it against something like a Storm Breath Dragon or Primeval Titan, if they've ramped up into something obscene like that, it could be quite good. Especially when you're racing, effectively fogging and doing upwards of 4 to 6 damage can be quite nice in those situations. It's quite situational, but you know it's nice to have access to something like Deflecting Palm, especially against Infect. I think it keeps them honest. And lastly, we have Dragon's Claw and Kor Firewalker versus Red. I mean, depending on how aggressive we want to get, we've actually got quite a lot of sideboard cards against Red. I mean, these two. And if they're a kind of go wide, goblin-y kind of deck, then Anger of the Gods can come in. And we can even board in Destructive Revelry if we're really desperate to try and kill opposing Eidolons, as well as Dragon's Claws. That's everything for the sideboard, so we're just going to get a quick game in. Go from there. So here we go, round 1. This hand is unexciting, but I'm tempted to keep, given that we have, what, 3, 6, 9, 12, 16 points of damage there. If they're a not very interactive deck. If they are an interactive deck, we have 4 kill spells. So we'll see how it goes. This is not a great keep, but I don't really want a mulligan. Got all colours, and if there's something like Infect, then then we could kind of keep them off the board. They're probably, my assumption would be a Thing in the Ice deck, maybe. Blue-white land. It could be Infect still. Just going to go Stomping Ground here. And suspend this. Don't really want to be wasting mana. I mean, we could wait on Lightning Bolt, but I don't see a massive difference here. Blue black, so Grixis, maybe. Okay. So probably going to take Boros Charm here. Maybe Lightning Helix. Yeah. It makes sense to take the Charm. I mean, you're taking 2 damage to prevent some other random amount of damage. So it stands to reason that you would take the Charm. And at least you'll probably feels better, a lot better from him, his point of view, or her point of view, to then only take that much. I'm going to tap out here again. Probably just double Rift Bolt to apply Mountain and save damage. If it is Grixis, they can turn the pace of the game around quite quick. So I'm going to wait on that shock land, because we can always play that untapped. Takes you damage. Suspend. Yeah. I mean, I assume they're playing Grixis. I mean, they're going to go down to 8. And they know I've got another 6 points. I'm not overly surprised by the concession. And I think as well, I mean, they know what they've got, obviously, and you know, they know what I've got, so weighing up whether or not they can actually win that game, and not showing me more cards is perfectly valid there, I think. I mean, if they know they're going to really struggle to win. So, not knowing 100% what they would actually have, it does mean that this is a bit trickier. However, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume they're playing Tasiga and bring in Path to Exiles for that. Are they likely to have... I mean, if they're playing Esper, they could have access to Leyline of Sanctity, in which case we want some of this. But I don't know. I mean, this is the real value in them doing what they did and just conceding. So it does make things a bit more difficult. I mean, assuming if they are Esper, Leyline, it just turns off all my burn. I don't think they're going to have creatures, so there could be a Delver deck. Delver on Thoughtseize? I don't think Delver on Thoughtseize. It could be fairies, in which case Slagstorm's pretty good. Wow, I don't know if it's pretty good at all. Play sorcery speed things against fairies. I'm going to hedge and take out the Lava Spikes, because Lava Spike is dead if they bring in Leyline of Sanctity, and if they're fairies, then that keeps Slagstorm in. Yeah, we'll go with that. And this has okay. Slagstorm. He's gone to 6, so he's on the play. This hand's fine, but knowing they have Thoughtseize, I don't like keeping. I mean, we're going to lose Eidolon if he's got, if he opens with Thoughtseize again, we're going to lose Eidolon. I mean, he probably boards out Thoughtseize, but I'm not sure. He could have other discard. If he's got other discard against the same kind of principle, then I'm kind of. I mean, what makes me keep this hand is Eidolon of the Great Revel. I mean, if we didn't have that, if that was another burn spell or a land, I would probably throw this back, but I'm not sure. Oh. No, we're going to mulligan. I'm going to... Yep, mulligan. Okay, this feels slightly better because now, while Searing Blaze is probably not going to be great unless they've got Snapcaster, so he's got some targets sometimes, and even without landfall, which is nice. This is much better because we have something if we do get Thoughtseized or Inquisitioned. So we'll keep. Ooh, we're going second. That could be okay, actually. We will put you on. So turn one, Swiftspear. Turn 2, Eidolon. We're not going to play this till turn. It's probably fine to not play. Is this fast enough? Probably not, but I'm going to give it a go. Again, we've got 3 threats here. Excellent. Fine. Oh, look, Grim Lavamancer. So I kind of want to draw land here because we want. I know, obviously, putting the Grim Lavamancer was anti that plan, but what I mean is, we're going to have one source. The fetch land to get white, but that's it. So I will play the mountain first and run this out. Attack. Yeah. So yeah, what I mean is that just in reference to the playing the mountain over the fetch. I don't want to draw lots of land, obviously, but I kind of want to see another fetch or green source, just in case you draw Atarka's command. So I'd rather kind of keep that open. Okay, so it's Esper, target player, probably them. Yep, I do them as the thank you, MTGO. Lingering Souls is not good. Okay, so Esper. So what's the maximum amount of pain we can inflict here? So we play this, and if we get Foundry, Boros Charm, we do 6 damage, put them to 13, or we play Eidolon and put them to 18, but then they have Eidolon, which is probably good because they're going to take, It's annoying not being able to prowess this, but whatever. Yes, I would like to pay 2 life. I just think the Eidolon is such an impactful card. It's good to get it early. I mean, yep. I mean, straight away it's negated if Finks. So, wow, it's negated the life on the first entry. I think Finks is just so good. Ugh. Hey. It's just like completely blanks everything. This card. This card. So if we Searing Blaze the Finks, he takes 3. Finks will persist and then be a 2/1, meaning we can attack with a Swiftspear, which will then be a 2/3, which is good because even if he blocks, it's just not going to trade, which is nice. Just hold back the Eidolon, not trading the Eidolon. not ideal, but this allows us to continue to do damage. I mean, obviously he's still gaining life, but yes. But you know, we can't help that. I mean, at this point, Sphinx is just such a good card. In we go. Yeah. So again, so look, 15, fighting through this horrible card. Oh yes, I would. Kind of running into a Supreme Verdict here, which is bad. I mean, we are going to get blown out by that if that happens. That would be less than ideal. But given they're playing Lingering Souls and Kitchen Finks, I would assume they don't play it. Especially boarding it in against this kind of deck, being that we're quite fast. Tap land. Uh-oh. Don't do it. He's going to slow roll it. I mean, if he attacks, he's definitely playing it. No. Oh. Esper Charm. Is he going to make me discard 2 cards? Or draw 2 cards? I forget what that one does. Yes. Ooh, that is fine. Yes. Esper Charm, gain 8 life. Horrible. That was pretty bad. Pretty bad right there. Shoot this friggin' Sphinx. And exile land. Main phase. I'm not pumping with Atarka's command, as that represents 4 damage putting into 5, which is great, but if he plays another Sphinx, then I mean oh, I hate Sphinx so much. If he plays another Sphinx, then yep, then I want to be able to negate that 2 life. So flashback that. Okay. Is it 7? So end step, instant speed life gain. Is there such a thing? No. So if I 3 damage here and untap, that's 2 damage off the Lavamancer. Put some 5 to 2. He still blocks. Yeah, I don't even need to do that because he's just conceded. But yeah, so essentially, not casting the Atarka's end step. I think it's just better to untap, even if we brick, just swing in with everything and pump the team, deal 3 to him. Yeah, that would be better than firing off end of turn. But academic, as he concedes anyway. 3 cards in hand, but if it's not anything to interact with this, then it's going to be tough for him. So yeah, that's that. Quite a quick little game there, but then that's Naya Burn for you. And well, Modern in general, to be fair, some of the games can just be over pretty quick. Probably got a little bit lucky there. I mean, his mulligan to 6 was not great. I imagine he kept a fairly weak hand. Or I mean, a hand with land and kitchen finks seems fine. But then we had ways to interact favourably with that finks and not suffer too much with loss of tempo and just putting pressure on in general, which is great. Sometimes with this deck, the simple act of someone casting a kitchen finks can be game over. It just blocks all of the creatures in this deck so well. So being able to leverage the prowess with Monastery Swiftspear after bolting it was really nice. Because I mean, even if he jumps there, we don't lose, which was quite lucky. I mean, if we'd had Goblin Guide instead in that spot, then we would have had to trade or not attack, and none of those scenarios are ideal. When you consider he gained 2 life, eaten a removal spell, and then would block a Goblin Guide. I mean, it's a 2 for 1. Not even thinking about the life that he's gained off that. So it's just such a good card against this kind of deck. But we came out okay. So thanks for watching. I know it was only a short little video, but please do leave a comment. Let me know what you think. The idea behind these videos is to not only share Magic the Gathering content, but also to try and help people improve, to think about the decisions that they're making in game. I personally find watching these kind of videos really helpful, because you get a bit of a perspective on how people play and the decisions that people make and why. Obviously, I'm not going to be making all the right decisions all the time, and even if Naya Burn is not a deck that you like or would want to play, you get to see how the deck is played from your opponent's point of view, and the sort of things people think about whilst playing this deck, essentially, which may well give you a bit of insight into how to play against this deck. And that's what this channel is all about, really. It's just watching some games of Magic, and more importantly, sharing ideas, sharing how I make decisions in game. So if you like what you see, then hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. There will be more modern videos to come, more draft videos to come. This is just the first of what will be a series of videos around modern, as well as drafts and unboxings and other Magic related videos as well. So once again, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.